I have the wonderful guest with me today, Michelle Bowditch. She's the CEO of the Australian Assembly of Administrators and award-winning agency Door 28. Welcome to the show, Michelle.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I love we're both wearing bright red lipstick today. Well, mine's not as bright as yours, but I am a girl that likes a bold red lip as well. My mum used to say to me, put on a bit of blusher and a bit of lippy and everything will be okay.
Yeah, red's my kind of color. I've got red nails, red lipstick, red eye. Yeah, red and pink. So if anyone's following me on Door 28 platform, they'll know that red and pink are my colors. So, and I think also, I mean, even though I've got black on, I think when we add color to our day, it just brightens it without even thinking about doing anything. So we've got that red lippy we've always got to have.
Absolutely. Love it. Now, tell me first about Door 28 and tell me about the name. I'm intrigued about the name.
So Door 28 was birthed in July 2019, and the way it exists today as a business is a cheerleading, mentoring, and tech strategy business. So I left the corporate world in March 2019, and it was really interesting because going from being in the corporate world, as we know, you've got all the infrastructure and the people and the support around you. And then you walk out that door and life is very different as a solopreneur or a business owner. And it was really funny. I was unsure how things were going to operate and how things were going to look and feel. And initially I was going to open a coffee shop, which was a hole-in-the-wall coffee shop around the corner from my house. And I had to go through council with the CDC and all of this. So I had to do a business registration name, and it was done so quickly. But the address of where the coffee shop was originally going to be was 28.
Nice. Love it.
So the business name, but then it was also got me, during the course from March until July, as the coffee shop didn't get the approval. So I went down a different track. But it was really interesting, and what I found over the last 3 years of running this business is, it's not about the first or 20th door that opens and closes on you. It's about the 18 that you journey with. And big part of my business is cheerleading, and you can be a cheerleader, it can be your tribe, your A-team. So I think it's always continuing to knock on that door or, venture down a track that you normally don't go down. And it's, as we say, it's being uncomfortable to get comfortable in the way we do things. So, I'm always tapping on that door. It could be an odd number or an even number, but I'm never giving up.
Oh, I love that. And, what were you working in corporate? What were you doing?
Yeah, so my last role was an executive assistant to a CEO in a startup business. So I had the opportunity to support her through a startup in Silicon Valley and go through that process, which I'd never done before. But yeah, my last 10 to 15 years was in executive assistant roles, which I absolutely loved.
Yeah, perfect. And hence why then the CEO of the Australian Assembly of Administrators as well.
Yeah, so we birthed the AAAs. I call it birthed, and I have 3 real children, but this is kind of my 5th child after Door 28 and AAAs. AAAs was birthed in September 21. It seems like a long time ago, but it's actually not. When I saw the landscape change within the administrative profession here in Australia, the job losses, 3rd and 4th time people were getting made redundant. And we initially started the platform as an awards platform, so very much a celebration platform. But we're now 18 months down the track, nearly 2 years actually. And it's very much an advocacy, research, education, and also with the awards platforms now. So we're very much about the change piece. How can we change a profession that is undervalued, unseen, and unheard? And I think you're a business owner, and we're seeing the landscape of how women are placed in the workplace these days, from a gender equality, a pay gap, and all of that. And it truly exists in the administrative profession. So for me, there's 160 different job titles in our profession, starting from the office manager or receptionist, front of house, all the way up to the executive assistant to the CEO. So we are advocating for a profession that is truly deserving of being cheerleaded.
I love it because, they're often the unsung heroes. They're the ones that are behind the scenes organising things, coordinating things, dealing with changes in schedules, dealing with difficult people, dealing with they're just problem solving all the time.
They are. They're putting fires out. And it's really interesting when there's a situation happening in the media where the CEO is getting stung or crucified for something happened. For me, I'm always thinking about the executive assistant or the person that's at the back of house, because they're the one that got up at 2 a.m. in the morning to prep the papers, got the media sorted, all these kind of things. And they're the last one to go to bed at night. So the impact that is not only having on the CEO or the HR lead or whoever it is, it's also having an impact on that individual. So, you know, the AAAs is very much about advocating for these individuals that are behind the scenes.
Yeah, love it. Perfect. And so so both of your businesses then are really focused on helping women with their confidence.
Yes. It's probably the easiest way to describe. Although I would like to have, you know, one of the things we're focusing on at the AAAs at the moment is to, you know, 5 years ago, the profession was 71% women. Now we're sitting at 83% women. So we're trying to get the men back into the profession, and it's a bit of a battle. And I would like more men in the profession, but men don't see it as a career. So, you know, one of the narratives in what we're trying to get across to the broader community is that being in the administrative profession is just not a job, it's a career. But as I said, 83% at the moment in Australia are women. So certainly I hang out with a lot of women, but also we need men cheerleading and championing for us, because we need them on our side constantly.
Yeah.
And they've always got to sit at the table before the woman as well, which is quite interesting. As you know, the man has the seat first before the woman, which we need to change. So, you know, that's another interesting piece.
Yeah, talk to me about that.
So, you know, I suppose as an executive assistant, I was very fortunate that I worked in strategic partnership always with my executive or my CEO. So, you know, the first thing was she and he. I predominantly worked with men, actually. It was quite interesting. My last role was supporting a female, very, very strong, powerful female. And I'd never worked with a female before. But because her and I think all my executives, we worked in partnership. So they were my champion and my cheerleader, as I call it. So when we were going to board meetings or there was big discussions going on, my voice was heard and seen, and I was invited into the discussions, and the contribution that I was making to that discussion, consider myself as a leader. So, but often that doesn't happen. And this is this confidence piece as well.
Yeah.
You know, I say confidence is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
And so talk to me then.
For me,
okay, go. Sorry.
And I think for me, confidence, you just can't wake up one morning and say, oh, I'm going to get on stage. I'm so confident I'm going to do this today. Or we can't go to the cookie jar and get that little cookie out and eat it and go, oh, I'm so confident today. Like, you know, it's something you've got to constantly work on. And I think for me, I grew up in a family that was professional golfers. I'm the only one in the family that doesn't play golf, but I was always surrounded at that elite sports level. So I was surrounded with corporates for a young age. I was in corporate boxes, you know, going to big events globally and things like that. So, you know, earning my strides along the way. Did I fall off the perch? Yes, I did. That happened a few times, but I think it's that reminder that we've always got to work on it. It's just not going to happen overnight. So, you know, and I've got little tools in my toolkit that I, you know, use as, you know, going along my journey from birthing one business to another business. And, you know, one of the things I do is I say confidence is contagious. So, you know, hang out with those, you know, confident people. Don't hang out with the negative Nellies or the toxic Taras, as I call them, because I think when you surround yourself with like-minded and confident people, it's a massive surge of positivity thrown into your day, and their confidence rubs off on you. And then it just makes it, you know, it's like a smile. When you're smiling, it's contagious. Like you want to smile as well. So I think that confidence piece as well is, you know, it is contagious. Hang out with those confident people. So that's my first tool. I've got 6 tools in my toolkit, and that's my first tool.
All right. Well, I absolutely love that. And I think, you know, particularly you growing up in that professional environment, that professional sporting environment, you see what it takes to actually get to that level. You see the amount of work that gets put in. You get to see the kind of consistency. I always talk about consistency and trying things, and that doesn't work, go down a different path or, you know, etc. Like people just don't turn up on the, you know, they say 10,000 hours or what. I've got I horse ride, and so look, I can tell you, my husband told me recently that horse riding is a bit like golf. You never quite get there. So, yeah.
And I think that is that piece about being a business owner or being a woman in leadership. Like, we are going to make mistakes and we are going to fall down. And for me, my biggest lesson that I've learned is about having my cheerleaders. And I have, these small segmented group of women, around Australia and globally that, checking in constantly and cheerleading for. And I think it's okay to pick your pieces up when you have fallen, but it's what have I learned and what can I take from this to be a better version of myself. And I think it also, it's like that, getting uncomfortable to be comfortable, stepping outside your comfort zone. I mean, I was listening to something, I think it was Gary Vee the other day, and, it's about stepping outside your comfort zone. You just can't click your fingers with confidence or anything we do. We've got to go that extra step, and we've got to try something. It's like, I say to people when they're looking for like coaches and people for their business, try before you buy. Go and have that conversation with someone. Step outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And just do it.
Yeah. I've had a few personal trainers, like, fitness trainers. And what I know is I need someone to yell at me. Like, I don't need someone. I don't need someone who's going to be nice to me. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm not going to do the work. Like, I actually need, I'm very motivated extrinsiquely, like by outside influence. And so I was talking about Gary Vee this morning. He's talking about AI and just people exploring AI at the moment. And, remember when email came in and people didn't want to use email, and remember when Facebook came out and people didn't want to use Facebook, and AI is now very similar. But your point there was, having that tribe, and so that when you do fail, you've got that group who will support you and who will give you different viewpoints and stuff like that. That you have some people going, oh, that's terrible, and I can't believe that happened, and rah rah rah. And then you've got people going, well, this is the best thing that's ever happened to you. You need to move on, and this is opening another door. And like, you're going to get, if you've got a group of maybe 6 to 8 people around you who you can leverage off, then you're going to get that viewpoint, and then you can step forward, I think.
Yeah, and I always think with cheerleading, less is more. I'm a 4 a.m. club now. I used to be a 5 a.m. club girl, and this year I went to join the 4 a.m. club. So for me, it's about starting your day right. What are you starting your day with? What happens with setting yourself up for success? And I think also for me, it comes back to the words that you use. So from a confidence perspective, when you're using the words can't, but, and won't, you're setting yourself up for negativity and failure. Whereas when you're using I can and I will and I want, that positivity is already coming out of your voice. So the confidence is building slowly and gradually with the words that you're saying to yourself, but also the words that you're using. And I think that, piece around the confidence is contagious. It's hanging out with those people where their language and what they're doing, is just, it's rubbing off on you, and you want to be that better person, and you want to be able to share your story. And I think often, I've been torn down a few times. I had a bit of a wobble, I'll call it wobble, in December last year with a bully, imposter syndrome set in, all those kind of things. But it was about me sitting down. And I think when I was in my 20s, our reaction piece is very different to someone as we get older, because we just go in and we go for the attack and we don't think about what we're doing. It's like, why did she say that? Whereas, when this situation happened, I was able to, what I say, take off my current lens or my current glasses and review the situation very, very differently. So I was able to, instead of me going into that spiral of, using those negative words and negative thoughts and going, I can't do this, and letting that outside noise, or those negative Nellies and toxic taras tear you down, I was able to reverse that and just be still for a minute and really go, okay, do I need to fight this battle? Is it a battle I choose to fight, or is it something I let go and move forward? And I think having that confidence piece with your cheerleaders, and also, just reverting back to the basics of, how to get the fire burning in the belly, as we say again, and, turning up as the best version of yourself. So it's just, you learn things over life. And I think it's also, it's, instead of saying I'm not good enough, I am good enough. And it's really, the power of words is really, really important. So for me, starting my day right, I've got my little mantras and the way I start my day right.
Tell me, Michelle, what you do.
Sorry?
Tell me what you do at 4 a.m. So, I feel it's a bit dark, to be honest. I mean,
Well, it
it's
is very dark. Yeah.
a bit
And
lighter.
look, yeah, I mean, I love Robin Sharma. If your listeners haven't read his 5 a.m. Club, listen to his podcast. He's got the Daily Mastery, which comes out Monday to Fridays, and it's 2 to 3 minutes of snippets of just gold nuggets every weekday morning. For me, one of the habits that I created back in COVID, I found the incredible Mel Robbins, and one of the things she taught me was where my phone is. So for me, my phone is never beside my bed anymore. It is away. So I physically have to get out of bed. So I'm literally, believe it or not, jumping out of bed at 4 a.m. because that alarm is way over the other side of the room. And the thing is the music tone that I have on my alarm now, it's a cheerleading pom-pom, like it's a fun wake up thing. And it can be really annoying sometimes, but it's starting that day. So, for me,
can they hear those noises?
the rest of the house can hear it, and I'm at the other end of the house, but I've also got 2 children that are tradies. So I need to be up at 4 a.m. to set myself up. So when I wake them up at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, I allow myself 30 minutes to an hour. So, from getting up, and it's really basic, my morning, I get up, I've got to turn off that beautiful cheerleading music. And then I do things like, wash my face with a warm washer, clean my teeth, and then I make my coffee, my glass of water with lemon juice. And then I'll either do some journaling, I'll listen to a podcast or a meditation. I'm often doing that in the morning. But I don't even look at an email. I will look at my text messages just in case if there was something important, but I won't react to it unless it's personal and it needs attention. But it's just really not getting on that social media. I think, we live in a society now where social media is changing the conversation in our behaviors, and it's mixing our mind up with, crazy, stupid thoughts. I mean, a great example is, I'll share it with you with social media is I was actually up in Queensland recently for a 70th birthday party, and I put a post on social media, and I've just recently become engaged, and everyone thought from this social media post that I had my engagement party in Brisbane. And people were saying, why wasn't I invited? And I was actually at a 70th birthday party. But the perception of one photo caused so much controversy. And I'm like going, so for me, social, look, it's that first hour of not touching your phone. And then, I get, everyone has breakfast because I think that, having a healthy breakfast is really important. So, 4:45, 5 o'clock, the breakfast shift starts with getting the tradies out of the house. So, and I found just for me having that time before I have to get everyone up, it just, there's something, there could be music going on, there could be a podcast, it could be prayer, it could be journaling. It just sets you up for a really positive day.
Yeah, love it. I'm not sure about 4, but I have normally when I wake up at 4, I've got something on my mind. And then I'm like, oh my God, I can't go back to sleep. But I'm more of a 5:30 type person, have a cup of tea in bed, to be honest with you. But it is like understanding what works for you and how you can get your day ahead. And tell me how you've gone then, because it's something that I've seen people in corporate versus opening your own business. Often in corporate, you kind of run by the machine. There's board meetings in this, on a Wednesday at once a month, there's these meetings on a Monday, this on a Tuesday. How have you gone adjusting then to that kind of schedule that's driving you to then motivating yourself and setting up your day, and also kind of how you focused on that?
Look, I think at the beginning I ran very fast and I didn't have a structure, and I could see myself very, very quickly because I talk about toolkits in my business and having the right tools in your toolkit with whatever you're doing. And I was running very, very fast. But now if I look at, we're 3 years down the track, having 2 businesses, Door 28's very lean business, AAA's actually has a board structure now. So we've got a board in place. I'm accountable to the board. I've got a team. Because I am a 4 a.m. girl, I don't do afternoons or nights. I'm not a good thinker. I am not good at night. So I went out last night with a group of people. I only do a night thing once a fortnight or once every 3 weeks. I got home at 9:30 and I was so exhausted. Like the mornings, that's when my best space happened. I also on Monday is what I call my strategic planning day. So AKA I do everything from housework, filling the fridge up with food, paying the bills, like it's like a business admin day. So I don't, unless it's business critical, I don't do meetings on those days.
Yeah, right.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays are my big days where I structure everything. And like some days I can finish my day. I can have my first meeting at 7 o'clock in the morning and I'm done by 1 p.m. Yeah. So for me, I'll get it all done. Friday is what I call my mental health day, where, you know, I can stay in my PJs every day and watch Netflix. I can go out to lunch with the girls. I can catch up with my cheerleaders, you know, go have a mani or pedi, whatever I need to do. And, you know, I can still be working because I've got my phone, and because I'm in the tech space, everything is available to me. I don't have to be sitting at a desk. Yeah. So if my team, and, you know, when people join the AAA team, they're very aware of my working rhythm. So if it doesn't suit their style, this relationship may not work. So they're very aware, and it's great. Initially when they join the team, they go, you know, at 7 a.m. their Trello board, because we use Trello for all our communications, and their Trello board is out of control. And I said, just because I've responded doesn't mean that you have to respond straight away. You need to get the kids out of the house. So it's teaching them tools as well as their working rhythm. So I talk about working rhythm and stuff like that. So being very accountable. Look, you know, because I am in the tech space, I have a lot of tools to remind me when the deliverables are due. And it's also challenging the team about what is business critical. You know, and things happen in life. You know, we've got one team member that's going through a bit of a health issue at the moment, and something was due the other day. And I said, if we don't get it done today, what's going to happen? Exactly. And I remind them about, there's this piece reminding them, because they are this, oh, Mish, I've let you down. It's no, I said, no. You've got to go deal with that health issue, go and sort that out. And I think this is, you know, I want the right people on my team to grow with the business and really be passionate about the business. So for, you know, for the deliverables, like I don't ask for weekend work. I don't think the girl, they've worked one weekend probably in the last couple of years, but you know, I don't think I'm a hard taskmaster, and they know that, you know, Monday, don't ask me something at 6 p.m. I won't respond to you. Like I'm very clear in, well, it's a boundary. It's a boundary setting piece as well.
Absolutely. These are my boundaries. This is the way I work. These are the times.
Yeah.
And unless it's super urgent or whatever, this is, and I really respect that with people. I think that's terrific. You know, and because if you're not going to set your own boundaries, then you know, you're gonna do things, and they're not. It's just eventually going to make you very unhappy, I think.
Yeah. And I'm a big look. I'd love to be a reader, but unfortunately, I'm not. I'm a podcaster, so I line up on Sunday between 10 and 15 podcasts for the week. So when I'm a walker as well, so you know, when I go out walking, they're plugged in my ears, and my team like sometimes hate me because if I listen to an amazing podcast, then I go and I download my thoughts and I put it in a voice to audio text to the team, and they're going, oh my gosh, who's Michelle listening to now? What is she going to make us do? Like, because I'm not creative normally. So I come up with these, you know, when you listen to someone and they just go, oh my gosh, that light bulb goes on and that excitement's back in your pants going, okay, guys, we've got to do this. And how about we do it this way? And it's like, can you just stop listening to your podcast? Like you're giving us more work to do.
So you've talked about Robin Sharma. We've talked about Gary Vee, Mel Robbins. Who else do you like?
I'm, you know, loving Stephen at the moment, our Diary of the CEO. He's, you know, I've listened to the interview with Simon Sinek, great interview time after time. The other, I keep going back to Abby Wambach with Wolfpack. Have you read that book? No. So Abby is, it's fantastic. So Abby, she actually has a podcast with her wife, Glennon Doyle. Right. And
I've read the book.
And
from yes, what's it called?
Oh my gosh, isn't that terrible? So and Abby has she wrote it after she finished competitive soccer. So, you know, world-class soccer player as a female. And it's I love her book. I love her podcast. So it's called Wolfpack by Abby Wambach. And she talks about the 8 habits we need in leadership. I'll share it to you so you can share it in the show notes. Nice. And I often go back to Abby because of her approach to leadership. And I think for me, we don't need a big title to say that we're a leader. I believe we are all leaders. And sometimes we let this title piece hinder our ability to be amazing, when in fact we don't need it. You can call me whatever. I mean, my executive assistant, for example, she calls herself the chief wrangler, because she feels that for her, she's constantly wrangling me and the team. And she doesn't need this big, massive title. And what she does in the business is truly incredible. But there's this piece about this title and that stigma. Oh, she's the CEO. I can't call her or send her a message, can I? Because she's the CEO. I'm going, I'm still Michelle Bowditch. Of course, you can send me a message. And I had a few people come up to me recently. She goes, and they go, I've been wanting to meet you, but I've been worried you wouldn't respond to me. And I go, what are you talking about? And they go, you're the CEO. And I go, it's just a title. I'm just still a human being. So there's still that piece of imposter syndrome, and people worried that because she's got this big title that I can't talk to her or been seen with her, which is a load of rubbish. So Abby's Wolfpack, she's done some podcasts, and her book is incredible. So I encourage her to get on board with it.
Nice. And so talk to me then a little bit more about, some of the confidence things in your toolkit.
Okay, so for me, I always say your words become your actions. So I always say a single word or sentence has the power to change your mood. So we spoke a little bit about it before. It's the language that you're using when you're talking to yourself. It's always, you've got to start telling yourself, I'm a kind person, I'm helpful, I'm amazing, I can go into this pitch meeting, I know what I'm talking about. And I think when we use positive language, it has a positive impact on our day, the way we feel, and those that are around it. So that's probably my second one. So confidence is contagious. Your words become your actions. Change your story. And I think this is another piece. The stories we tell ourselves can negatively impact our confidence. So as we know, that inner critic in our head is always saying, you can't do that, Michelle. You can't be that person. It leaves us feeling negative, miserable, and all that. So we need to change the story that we tell ourselves. We need to be able to say that, I've got this, I can do this, I deserve to get this job, I deserve to have this meeting, I've earned it, I've worked really hard. So, changing our story is really, really important. And I think the other thing that I always say is know your values. Knowing your values is really, really important if you want to live a life full of confidence. So values give us clarity. They support us in our decision-making, both personally and profession. And I think our values are our ideas and our beliefs that deem to be most important to me, and also the way that we live and work. So know who your values are. And I always, my grandma taught me my values, and I had a, rocky patch in my life when I was going through a divorce. And, I forgot about those values that my grandma and the family set me up for. And she was someone that reminded me, and she said, you've lost your values. Go back to your core. What is it we taught you as a young person? What did the family, and values don't need to be complicated. They can actually be really, really simple. The other thing I got in my toolkit is always stepping outside your comfort zone, which I said before. Whether you're an extrovert, introvert, or the new word ambivert. Have you heard the ambivert floating around?
What's that one?
Yeah. So
is that
an ambivert sits in the middle.
Or
So you're going back and forth from an introvert to an extrovert.
No. I'm a Gemini, so I'd actually put myself in that category.
I'm a Cancer, but I'm on the cusp of a Gemini, so I get what you're saying.
Yeah, so I think this is not the podcast people thought they were going to get. I think Geminis, you can be very on and you can be very not on. Do you know what I mean? So you can be.
And I think they are, if we go back to, we're talking about confidence, they often think that confident people are extroverts when in fact they aren't. So I think you've got to remove that label again. So we talked about the title with the label. We've got to remove that label again of how we think we are. Look, we're always going to be nervous
as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and I think,
you're in tech, you said you're in tech, I'm in tech. Often a lot of people in tech get labeled as introverts and or quiet or whatever. And, a whole lot of things go along with that. So removing that view really.
It is. And like, you know, if we talk about stepping outside our comfort zone and we go back to the tech piece, like if we talk about AI and chat GPT at the moment, like, you know, I was in Silicon Valley in 2018. We were taught this existed back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, I was using Microsoft Teams and Zoom and Slack back in 2018. I remember talking to people and they're going, are you on some crazy planet? We don't need to know about that. And then what happened? We went into lockdown and everyone's using Teams and Zoom and Slack and all that. And now, you know, chat GPT's here and everyone's going, it's going to take my job again. You know, they're getting married. It's like, it is not going to take your job. You know, use it to the way that you want to use it. And, you know, like we use Canva, you know, I know we're sidetracking in our business. Canva have, you know, their AI tool now. I can type into the chat now in Canva and say, can you design me a invitation in pink, purple, and white? I want a luxury font. It needs to have this, this, and this in it, and it's done.
Yeah.
And it comes up with options.
Yeah.
So this is his piece, is with technology, and, you know, you're in it, like it creates so many efficiencies. So don't think it's going to take your job. And this, you know, my other toolkit, stepping outside your comfort zone in everything we do. You know, it's going to feel, it's
learn about it so that you're not afraid of it, I think.
Yeah. And it's not going to hurt you. Like, you know, trying something new, you're not going to die from it. It's like, if it doesn't work and it doesn't suit you, walk away from it.
Michelle, one last tip for the listeners.
One last tip for the listeners. Okay, so confidence, as I said, is a muscle that you've got to continually work on. So for it to be a strong muscle, just don't give up. If one thing doesn't work, try another thing. And I think, you know, don't go to the cookie jar and try and find that confidence card. It's something that you've got to work on. And we've all got it inside us. We are all leaders. So turn up every day being the best version of yourselves. And as I always say, there's only one incredible you in this world. So be you, do you, amaze you.
Love it.
That is my leaving note.
Now, what's the best way, Michelle, for people to get in touch with you?
Any of the social media. So if you're on LinkedIn, connect with me there as Michelle Bowditch. If you're on socials, you can go to Door20A. Be ready for a bit of pink and red in your lives because it is full of energy and fun. If you are in the administrative world or you want to be part of the change movement that we're doing, head across to the AAAs as well, or you can just drop us an email and we'll share it all in the show notes.
Lovely. Love it. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Michelle. I know that the audience are going to get just a bucket load of things out of that, and just keep trying.
Absolutely. Thank you. And
cheers.
Thanks for having me on the show. Cheers.